Welcome ladies and gentlemen to another episode of Majin Starcraft, our second episode for today, simply because our last match was, well, in my opinion, a little bit short. Awesome nonetheless, but a little bit short, so that means that I have a little bit more free time, so yeah. I'm decided to cast another match. So we have Terran versus Terran. It's going to be a mirror match on Blistering Sands between, well, I can't read that. According to my information, this is Boxer. That's right, the classic and the most well-known player in Starcraft 1, gonna be on my channel for Starcraft 2. Against LiquidJinro. So mirror match, Terran, hype level play, and what you probably already noticed in the time of the video, in a very long match. We'll see how these players actually decide to make this game epic. I have my full confidence in both of them that they will deliver a great match indeed. Standard openings for both of them, supply depots on the same time. As you can see, even the SCVs are almost identical in production, and there is a barracks, Boxer's barracks delayed by approximately half a second. I don't think that will actually mean anything in the long term. Jinro deciding to go for a barracks right near his command center, while Boxer a little bit closer to the ramp. No all-in, so neither player fearing any kind of early pressure. Jinro's scout is on the way. However, that means that there is less mining out for Jinro. There is also a refinery on the way. No refinery as of yet for Boxer. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see what this means. As you can see, LiquidJinro has already started mining that gas. That means that we'll probably have this marine, and by the time this marine comes out, we're probably gonna see a marauder. Now the scout, is this scout gonna go? Yeah, the scout is actually going for scouted a little bit for his expansion for any kind of proxy, just making sure. So yeah, Boxer checking that, and now I believe there's a marine on the way. There's that marine for Boxer, and Boxer going a very early expand, which we'll see what this means for Jinro. Both orbital commands are up, so income wise both players are identical. As you can see, Boxer is slightly ahead because, well, his mule is here, while Jinro's mule has yet to kick in, but they have basically the same income. Well, not necessarily the same income, but as you can see, Jinro is a bit behind in minerals because he does have 3 SCVs on gas. So again, he's going for a little bit more gas. There's a reactor and there's a factory, so this might transition into a 1-1-1 build, while Boxer is going for an expansion, laying down a couple of more barracks, so he's gonna have a heavy infantry tactic, probably a lot of marines. We'll see how that fares with a 1-1-1 build, and we'll see what the 1-1-1 build actually means. I mean, will these two switch? Yes, these two are gonna switch. That means that we will see Hellion play, so very interesting indeed. Hellions, a nice Hellion drop in here could be very devastating, considering that Boxer will have marines and marines will be caught way out of position. As you can see, a mule actually doing the transition on the second base, second orbital command soon. That means that that Boxer will have a big advantage when it comes to harvesting minerals. However, right now I think that he's slightly behind in the army count, or not even so. He has 5 marines, while Jinro has 2 Hellions and 2 marines. Is there a starport on the way? No, there is no starport on the way. Apparently Jinro deciding to go for his expansion as well. So it's a 1-1 build. So now where's this barracks going? Building a tech lab and moving away. Will this factory now get into position? Yes, very nice indeed. As you can see, Hellions are gonna rally up right here. So now these two switching again. The factory will probably get a little bit of siege mode on. No, there is a blue flame, so we have blue flame on the way for Jinro. Infernal pre-igniter means that these Hellions will do a lot more damage, but there are a lot of marines here. Very nice, a very nice concentrated shot right there for Boxer, taking out one of the Hellions. Probably gonna take out a second one if Jinro doesn't micro these correctly. One marine bursts to an ash. 2 marines are burning and dying, and ooh, that was just devastating hit right there. As you can see, their carcasses are still burning and then disappearing into dust like vampires in Blade. Do you think that Boxer's units are vampires? Possibly. Well, we'll see. Again, very nice microphone Jinro here, taking out one Marines, but sadly another Marine, and gonna try and take out another Marine. Both Hellions are on half HP at the moment, and this is a lot of Marine pressure. That 4 racks, 5 racks now is really reinforcing this build. And does Jinro have enough to hold the line? I think he might have enough to hold the line, because whoa, 2 factory, a 3 factory build from Jinro. This is something that I don't think I've ever seen this. A 3 factory build. That means that it's gonna be a very, very intensive mech play. We might see Thors, we might see tanks, and we might just see mass Hellions. Who knows? Mass Hellions. So right now army size is kind of favoring Boxer with 25 Marines and 10 versus 10 Marines and 4 on attacking and reinforcing Hellion. Meanwhile, production tab Jinro is getting Stim. I believe just finished. Did Stim just finish? No, Stim did not just finish. So yeah, he decided to cancel Stim and go for those conch shells. There we go. Now with Infernal Pre-Igniter, as you see, a lot of Marines dying there. So now these Hellions are a lot more powerful against these Marines, and sadly Boxer is backing out of there, losing a lot of units to all the blue flame. And now there is a Marauder here, but the Marauder will die from the Marine fire, and the Marines will die from the Hellion fire. And this expansion is very, very sadly caught out of position, and now these Marines are gonna take out a lot of these SCVs, doing a lot of economical damage. Right now Boxer is in a bad position. If we look at the income tab, he's lost a few harvesters. However, this is besides the fact that he's lost a few harvesters, a lot of them aren't mining, they're just standing behind here. And now a couple of Marauders gonna come in here and push Jinro back, but the damage has been done. If we look at the units lost tab, Boxer has lost 2,300 worth of units, while Jinro only 1,000. He is clearly in the advantage, even having a supply depot right here to scout the rocks. So yeah, meanwhile Boxer has no scouting on the rocks. This could be a very important detail in the late game, because if he doesn't have these rocks scouted, a 2-prone attack will ultimately find his base open and decimate it entirely. We have a starport and a factory on the way, so a lot of factory. There is a tech lab, getting siege tech, getting tanks, getting Hellions. No Thors on the way, and no other production facilities. What is this? Another? So no, this isn't a factory. There is a starport, a scan going down to make sure this what kind of strategy Jinro is going to come up with. He is going to see these 3 factories, so he's going to expect a very big mechanical unit play. I think he also scouted the starport. There is that tech lab. That might mean we might get Ravens, but I don't see the point right now. Banshees will probably be the better choice, simply because Banshees can do a lot of harassment, and Jinro now decides to put a supply depot on his back door to make sure that he doesn't get scouted. Meanwhile, Boxer decided to use his factory to scout, deciding he doesn't need it. He's going full on Rax Medevac, so Marine Marauder Medevac, a classic Starcraft 2 play. It's interesting, and this just shows the grandeur of Starcraft 2, the level it has reached, and why this is just one of the best games ever. The game has not been out for what, less than a year, and there's something called classic Starcraft 2 play. You just don't get that in other games. And the impact Starcraft 2 has had on our culture, and its meme effect is just phenomenal. It's why I love the game. Meanwhile, we're gonna have here a lot of Marine Marauders versus tanks and Hellions. I don't know if this is the best strategy for Boxer, because tanks, Hellions, and a couple of Marines to hold the line will just completely decimate this army, will dwindle it down incredibly with a lots of AoE damage, and I doubt that Jinro will be able to produce enough medevacs to heal that. As you can see, the factory is just going around here. Yes, I am a building and I'm being used for scouting purposes. Whoosh, I have lots of health and it'll take you a long time to bring me down. Meanwhile, no other players scouting for expansions. As you can see, there are a couple of Marines here. There is one Marine here and another SCV here. Both players containing a lot of map vision, making sure that they're not that their opponents are not doing something weird. So we have a missile turret on the way, and there are a couple of Marines here gonna start taking out the factory, but the factory does have a lot of health and it's just gonna run off. A very nice sensor tower on the back door and on the behind of the base to make sure that there's no Banshee harass. Now this Banshee probably try to attack here, but there is a missile turret for Boxer, and sadly the Banshee needs to go back. Now if you're wondering why the sensor tower here and here, it's simple: to prevent any kind of Banshee attack from this angle or from this angle. I suppose Boxer in a sense is not that worried, Jinro is not that worried for a Banshee attack here, because he does have a lot of his troops here to defend from any kind of shenanigans and any kind of drops. A lot of SCVs be standing right here idle, not that good. Let's see how this is affecting the income. So we have another command center. Is it gonna go down here? Yes. Right now Jinro is going to try and secure the high yield, and apparently so is Boxer. So 2 high yields for these players, and very nice indeed how this orbital command, command center is just flying out of the vision of our very. And what do we have here? We do have a drop in here, then we do have a Viking, and will this Viking be able to take out something? No, not yet. Is it gonna take out a medevac? It takes out a medevac, gonna take out another medevac, and the entire drop gets decimated by an ongoing army. Very nice play indeed by Jinro and by Boxer to try and get that. Now, as I said, Jinro is not worried about this path being a place for drops, simply because his army is defending it. He's probably gonna lay down a couple of missile turrets here. Probably this SCV is gonna do that. If it's not, I'm just gonna have to bite my tongue. And same with Boxer. As you can see, he has this entire line defended by this missile turret, so he's not worried by any Banshees coming in there. Meanwhile, there is a cloaked Banshee here for Jinro, and Boxer needs to back out at this point, because he knows that all these units, all these tanks and Hellions will do a lot of damage, and very nice scan indeed to take out that Banshee. So we have a couple of Vikings to take care of the Banshee problem. However, this does mean that scans are being used on Banshees and not on, and the energy is not being used on mules. So that does have a little bit of an economical impact. Meanwhile, Jinro has ultimately secured a high yield expansion right now, and there is a planetary fortress here on the defensive. Big ass cannons. The biggest cannons are gonna pound anything that comes in here. Meanwhile, we have a couple of transitioning SCVs, and the income right now for Jinro should skyrocket just about it in a couple of seconds. Should probably go up to 2,000 very soon. I don't know why is it not going to 2,000. Yeah, so we have a lot of transitioning SCVs right now for Boxer, because he's securing his own high yield expansion. And as you can see, the map is fairly cut down the middle at this point, with both players securing half the map. If we look at the units lost tab, same old. Jinro is in a slight advantage, well, about 2,000 minerals, 2,300 minerals, but that's not really much at the end of the day. So if we look at the army size, however, we'll see that both teams are fairly equal. There is 2 Vikings trying to take out the Banshees, and the Banshees actually managed to get out of the way. Very nice maneuvering from Boxer, trying to steal those Banshees with these 2 Vikings. And very nice again, another scan going down and 1 Banshee falling. And will this Banshee fall? Yes, there are a couple of Marines there. Will the scan be enough? Will this thing cloak in time? And no, another scan being laid down, and as you can see, both Banshees died. So now the Banshee threat has been neutralized. Unit wise, let's see, we have 28 Marauders for Boxer and a couple of medevacs and 26 Marines, 8 medevacs. Meanwhile, we have 2 Vikings, 19 tanks, 16 Hellions and 27 Marines. So Marine count is same. However, tanks and Hellions for this 34 Marauders, I'm gonna go with tanks and Hellions, simply because of the AoE. Tanks and Hellions can shoot down the Marauders, and meanwhile we're gonna have this massive bio build gonna run in here, deny the second planetary fortress for the defensive, and gonna take this building out completely fast, because this is a gigantic army taking out a tank, taking out all those SCVs. Meanwhile, I believe Jinro should do the same and try to take out this expansion, and doing so. However, a lot of these tanks are out of position and not attacking, so right now Boxer took out the expansion and can actually fall back on the defensive. and I believe that that is what he's doing, because this planetary fortress is being repaired, and apparently tank damage from 3 tanks is not enough. More tanks need to be brought in for this, and I have no idea why he's not doing this, or why he has his entire army spread out like this. I suppose it's to deny any kind of retaliation from behind, but I don't know. The Boxer doing a great maneuver there, taking out this expansion while his own expansion is slowly being repaired. Now there are enough tanks here to do the damage, despite the fact of this repair. If a few more SCVs are gonna get brought in, the SCVs are gonna die, and now we have this Marine Marauders coming in here, taking out a few tanks, and again being caught a little bit out of position. These tanks defending the ground here, and I believe and the Hellions are gonna try and get this army. No, a couple of shots off by the Vikings on the medevacs, and this expansion is the planetary fortress has been fully healed again. So that means right now that economically speaking, Jinro is completely dominated. Look at all these idle SCVs inside his main. He is only on 1 expansion, and this is dwindling completely, and Jinro is in a very tight spot, while Boxer may have lost his completely mined out his main. His expansion is still alive, and he does have a very nice high yield that is still continuing to produce minerals. As you can see, the income tab is clearly showing. So right now Boxer is actually making this Marine Marauder build work against a massive AoE damage for Jinro. So very nice play indeed, using the classic build, and now gonna use and gonna attack this entirely completely defenseless backdoor. Gonna run in here with a couple of Marine Marauders to check out everything. Gonna find out that this base is not really that well defended, and gonna come in here, gonna take out everything. Where is Jinro? What is Jinro doing? APM Jinro is actually soaring just as well as Boxer. He's not even attacking. This entire base is still being repaired. His army is just standing by while Boxer is inside Jinro's main and just doing everything he can, just attacking it. We do have a lot of tanks here, but the tanks will not be able to defend it. As you can see, a lot of things have been lost, and if we look at the units lost tab, Jinro has made up a lot of ground, only about 1,000 resources behind. There is a command center here gonna take on this expansion. I don't know if this is the best expansion for Jinro to take. It's completely inside enemy territory. His army is sadly completely, and there is a couple of Vikings and a couple of Banshees gonna take out the tank. Again, Jinro caught out of position to do nothing, and there we go. We have a scan going down here. I do not know why. And now this army is gonna run in here, gonna take out another of off-position tanks. Jinro's army is just completely out of position. As you can see, the high yield being finally taken out by Jinro and securing his expansion well. Let's check out the income tab. Now Jinro is ahead, slightly ahead. However, his natural will soon be mined out, which means that he will be on no base. However, so is Boxer. Boxer is on no base at the moment because completely his expansion is gonna get mined out in about, I don't know, 30 seconds, considering the number of SCVs. Meanwhile, his high yield is completely locked down by these fixed positions. Sadly, right now Jinro doesn't have any anti-air to deal with these Banshees, and the Marine Marauder push is gonna come in here, and the Banshees are just having a field day with the Hellions and the tanks, and the Hellions and the tanks just can't do anything. Meanwhile, the inside the base, Jinro has a lot of tanks for defensive mobilities, but let's see the units tab. We have 29 Marines right here inside the base. We've lost 2 barracks that were not repaired for Jinro. Losing a lot of tanks to those Banshees, not moving them. Moving these tanks and gonna bomb this place, gonna bomb this building. Gonna try and pick off a few SCVs, and now all these SCVs are out, and this command center is this orbital command is moving on the high yield, and that means that Jinro's economy will kick back in. The Banshee's gonna take out the last remaining tanks, and with these tanks there's nothing they can really do except delay the expansion, and that's all they can do. Gonna siege up, gonna take up a little bit more damage, and now the tanks have fallen and the command center will be able to lay down. And here comes the transitioning SCVs, and let's check out that income. As you can see, the income is completely stopped for Boxer, but now just watch it soar. A couple of mules being laid down, just watch it soar. Watch it soar. 200, 400, 500, 700, 800, 900, 1000, 1100, 1300, 1500, 1500. Complete domination right here, economically speaking. And as you can see, Jinro now gonna try and probably secure this expansion as well, and Jinro's coming here, but this expansion is not gonna happen. It's gonna get completely locked down, and he's actually moving his main orbital command from his main base to do so. Not the best of choices, because now we're gonna have a big army fight. As you can see, a lot of Marines, a lot of tanks. There is a Thor in there. No weapons upgrade except for tanks. Let's see. Meanwhile, there is 1-1 upgrades for our for Boxer. Meanwhile, only 2 upgrades for the damage on Hellions and Medivacs and Thors. Yes, Medivac damage. I am awesome. I meant the Hellions. So now Jinro is back in the race, securing his economy from here. However, this doesn't exactly mean that a lot of tanks sieging up and taking, as you can see, all that AoE damage, doing a lot of impact damage right there. Jinro is a little bit behind in the units lost tab of about 1,000, but that can change really fast with this clumped up army of Marine Marauders. And now the Thor being caught out of position and just taking it out with the conch shells. The Marines have shields, Marines have stim. A scan going down to see how this army is positioned. Siege tanks gonna siege up, but again the Marines a little bit out of position and can't defend the tanks. The Marines are only here to try and defend the tanks. The Vikings taking out the Medivacs, and now the Marines are open to attack by the Banshees. And as you can see, using that little bit of maneuverability to make sure that the Banshees cannot be attacked. That is a cheap move if you want, but an effective move at that. And now this army, and now Boxer is completely pushing Jinro behind. Jinro is slowly losing a lot of ground. He is only on 1 base at the moment, and as you can see, Boxer is now on 2 base, 1 high yield. The main army is actually moving inside Jinro's base, gonna take out another barracks, gonna take out a lot of production buildings right here, and there goes a factory. Just 3 shots from this entire army, gonna take out another factory and probably go for another factory. All the production buildings have just completely fallen. There's 1 last barracks, gonna take out the starport, gonna take out everything at the moment. There's no more focused fire. Gonna take out a supply depot, gonna even probably supply block Jinro very soon. And this army for Jinro is just completely locked out itself, because right now Jinro's problem is simple. His main damage is siege tanks. Siege tanks do damage if they siege up, and that takes completely valuable time, so he needs to draw Boxer into his own line of fire. So he can't necessarily charge in and expect to do normal damage with unsieged tanks. So if he actually does that, it would be complete failure for him. But now he's actually managed to chase out, but oh no, all these tanks getting caught out of position, and they're gonna lay down a couple of shots, but all these tanks taken out by the Marine Marauders with the stim. He should have actually put his tanks here, and he would have actually boxed in Boxer. Meanwhile, on the other hand, this expansion is still going strong. We have a couple of supply depots laying down. There is a starport, and here comes some more units for Boxer. Gonna take out these production units the same. And now poor Jinro is on 1 base with 1 orbital command. This is all he has. While Boxer is running all across the map, but he is gathering income. The high yield may be mined out, but he does have 1 normal base and complete domination of production facilities. So right now, if we look at the units, the army size, Jinro only has 82 supply, while Boxer is on 142, and Jinro is completely not mining anywhere. And does he have resources? He has a couple of bank resources. He's laying down a barracks. He's gonna bring in, and there's the scan. And right now, Boxer is not gonna even bother with trying to take this space right here, because again he knows that Jinro is relying on static defenses, and sadly, static defenses will do nothing against this really mobile army. So it came down to a Terran turtle versus a Terran mobile, and the Terran mobile won. The turtle didn't work. Orbital command running away. Again, no income for LiquidJinro. Finally gonna get back his income. As you can see, Zero finally gonna start getting back his income. Another batch of supply depots gonna fall for our LiquidJinro. He is now supply blocked, losing, and once he loses this, he's gonna be supply blocked even more. And right now, Boxer is securing his 2nd high yield. 1 high yield is completely mined out. So Jinro is just, I don't know, is prolonging the inevitable. He needs to call the GG at this point. He knows he's lost. Great play by Boxer, using Terran mobility to beat Terran static defenses. I believe that the downfall for Jinro in this game was relying on static defenses to defend a overall large area of map, and But sadly, that meant that his entire army was split, while Jinro's forces were composed of one big ball of damage, going forward and penetrating Jinro's defenses, and it worked. It worked perfectly. Now, as you can see, Jinro is slightly ahead in the income, but there's nothing he can do. He needs to rebuild all his production facilities. Meanwhile, Boxer is slowly rebuilding his army. Jinro was supply blocked. Boxer's rebuilding his army. He has income from a high yield, from a base. His production facilities are completely intact. Here comes a fight that's gonna end all. We have 4 cloaked banshees here. All these Marines taken out completely. Now the banshees can just go destroy the tanks. But this army is completely here, and so yeah, Jinro calls the GG. Great play by Boxer. That was a phenomenal game to watch, a phenomenal game to cast, and I'll see you guys next episode.